We have Floyd Yager, the Senior Vice President of Property Product from Allstate, on the line to talk a little bit about providing the right kind of support for some of your most valuable possessions, like your home, like your car. And I think, do we have Floyd on the line?
There's Floyd.
There he is. Good morning.
Good morning.
We're in good hands with Floyd from Allstate. So first of all, Floyd, this conversation with regard to sharing your home, sharing your car, if you're an Uber driver, if you're using your Airbnb, your home as an Airbnb, there's some things you should consider.
Sure. The sharing economy is changing the way we all live our lives. About 1 in 5 of us has participated in the sharing economy, and it continues to grow exponentially. But with it comes new risks. So if you are driving in a transportation network, there are times that your personal auto policy doesn't cover you, and Allstate's created some products to make sure that those holes or gaps in coverage are really closed for you so that you can be protected at all times.
So to be clear, what you're saying is that if we were just, not to assume that we can just rent out our property and let people stay in it or take people in our car, when you engage in that as a business, then you need to look at changing your insurance. Is that right?
Yeah, you don't really need to change your insurance, but for example, if you're renting your house through an Airbnb, your homeowner's policy is going to protect any really damage to the house, accidental damage, but there's additional risk with a renter. Should the renter damage your property, damage the contents in your house, or steal any possessions that you have, your homeowner's policy won't cover that since you've allowed that person to be in there as a guest, as a renter. So Allstate's created a product called Host Advantage to make sure that you're covered should that renter do something that you wouldn't expect.
Well, and I think the term shared economy is just a new thing that people are even thinking about.
Right.
But with Airbnb, with VRBO, like you said with Uber, this specifically applies so much to Park City because we have second, third homeowners that are constantly renting out their properties during peak seasons to keep themselves sustainable or earn extra income. But there's a lot of liability issues that they may not necessarily think of. Do you have any tips for people that are maybe thinking, okay, I have this second property, or maybe I'm going to move out for that Christmas week or that President's weekend and try and earn some extra money, what the steps and the thought process they should be going through?
Sure, absolutely. First, as we talked about, I'd talk to your local Allstate agent, make sure that those gaps in coverages, should the renter do something you wouldn't expect, steal your property, damage some of your possessions, that you're protected well there. In addition, using common sense. If you use a company like Airbnb, be perhaps able to do a background check on who you're renting to. Allstate also has a product, an app called Digital Locker, where you can do an inventory of all your possessions, take pictures, have video, so that you know what's there should something get damaged, should something go missing or get broken. And lastly, as someone who is renting out a home there in Park City or other areas, having an owner's closet where things you don't want to make available to a renter, you can lock those away and make sure that you're protected well. I mean, I think using a lot of common sense, but then also talking to your agent about gaps that might be there that you don't really expect.
Floyd, you made a good point there, not for just renters or people who are renting their home, but I think for everyone in general. As I go out and spend time with my friends and family, what have you, I notice that none of them have prepared properly for the eventuality, the possible eventuality of something catastrophic happening, a fire, a earthquake, something like that where you would lose your property inside the home. Do you have an accounting of it specifically for your insurance company? Because very much that part of it, that part of the policy is going to cover what you own, and you need to be able to prove what you own. So having that digital locker, that's a huge thing, and Allstate provides that for free.
Yeah, absolutely. The app's available. Anybody could use it. Allstate customers, we really encourage you to use it so that you can be protected and know what you have, both in the sharing economy, but as you point out, just in general, so that should you have that loss, should something catastrophic happen to your home, that all your possessions could be replaced or taken care of.
And what about those that are thinking, I know Uber obviously exploding, and especially around Sundance in this area, a lot of people think, yeah, I can make a little bit of extra money and become an Uber driver. Anything people need to think about before they decide to invite strangers into their car?
Sure. Again, your personal auto policy covers you for your personal use. The transportation network companies will provide you coverage while you have a passenger in your car. But that time between, when you're no longer using it just for your personal use, but you're actually out there looking for someone to come into your car, you've turned on the app, you're looking for a passenger, between that time and the time someone actually gets in your car, you really don't have the proper insurance coverage. So Allstate's created a product called Ride for Hire that for less than $20 a year, you could be covered should you have an auto accident during that period of time. And I think that's really important because, as you point out, everyone just assumes their auto policy will take care of them. But there's these times that it really doesn't. It wasn't designed to do that, and you really have to make sure that you're covered correctly.
Well, Floyd, that is really good advice, especially given that price. That is a low price point for good protection of your property, your health. If something were to happen in an accident in that situation, you want to make sure that that coverage is in force. And this, I think, is just a good reminder in general to take a minute to make sure that you're properly insured if you engage in any activity in your home as a business or in your car as a business or anything like that. You always want to make sure that your insurance company knows. I know people are like, oh, it's fine, they'll take care of it when it happens. If and when it happens, yeah, well, you're going to be sorely disappointed if you find out that thing that you thought you could do without being, without letting your insurance company know, without engaging them, may not be covered.
Absolutely. All right, well, Floyd, thank you so much for helping us to navigate through this new landscape of a shared economy and make sure that we were all prepared. And we will be sure to stop by and visit our local Park City State Farm, or Allstate, excuse me, agent.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, Floyd.
Bye-bye.